Hello everybody, this is Rebecca Jane from Yoga with Rebecca Jane. And for this session, we're going to be paying attention to a very important part of our body, and that's the feet. It's a practice devoting ourselves to our feet. It's a dedication to our feet. I'm going to read just something briefly from the Yoga Journal, August 28th, 2007. The practice of yoga postures can transform our relationship with our feet. Enhanced poise through the feet leads to a sense of stability and rootedness, so important in the unforgiving pace of today's culture. As we free up our feet, we tap into a reservoir of potential energy. So, hence, feet. This is where we begin. Why this is such an important part of our bodies is because if we didn't have our feet, we couldn't stand, we couldn't walk. And the feet and the hands have both half of the bones of our feet, all of the bones in our hands and our feet are about half of the amount that we have in our bodies. It's really quite profound how important the feet are and how neglected they are. Let's start with placing the soles of the feet together in Badakanasana. You could sit on a cushion or not. We don't need any blocks for today. You can always have them handy if you need them for some of the other, maybe for the lunges. But other than that, and they're not necessary. So you're in a Badakanasana, where the soles of the feet are together. I want you to take your thumbs and place them on the inner arch. Some of us have very high arches. Mine are pretty high. Some of them have low, some flat. So I want you to feel in. These are important. There are three arches here. This one is the inner. There's the outer arch, the outer edge of the foot, and there's the one that goes across horizontally. So we're going to just massage this space here where the connective tissue stretches from the heels all the way to the ball mounds. And just wake up this foot. And then take your hands and open up your toes. So take them and spread them towards the tops of the feet. So you can actually, however works best, let's spread the toes. Our big toe is there for stability. It doesn't do much other than that. The rest of the toes help with stability as well, but also we need them for walking. There's a lot to a foot. But what we're going to do is we're going to concentrate on the large ball mound, which is right underneath the toe, big toe, and then the one that's underneath the little toe, and then the heel of the foot, the area where when you're walking, it's the one that touches down. And those are the three areas we'll be concentrating on throughout this practice. So let's sit up nice and tall, and let's lower ourselves now into a forward bend, folding over. You can keep your hands on your feet if you'd like, or just let the hands drop to the ground. Feel free to spread your toes as you're pressing into those ball mounds, into the heels, connecting with the bottom of the feet. Devoting our practice to our feet, a dedication. And let's take an inhale, lift back up. Stay in your Badakanasana. You can keep the feet where they are or slide them forward a little bit. Take your left hand inside your left shin and take your right hand, push the right knee down. A gentle twist. You can actually come onto the fingertips if you'd like for the left hand, or keep the fingertips flat and open up. Look over towards your right shoulder. You should feel a stretch in the hip. But as you're doing this, the feet are pressing into each other. We're activating these feet. We're bringing them to life. And then come back onto the other side, right hand now pressing into the ground, pushing into that right shin, left hand on the left knee, push away. Looking towards your left shoulder and breathing in. and breathing out. And then let's come back to center. Let's help our knees together. Let's come onto our hands and knees. We're going to start a flow, continuous flow until the very end. Start in your child's pose. Bring the big toes to touch. Let the knees open wide. Reach the arms forward, forehead resting on the ground. Melt into the mat. Connecting with the feet simply by now not the bottom of the feet, but the top of the feet. Our feet are actually connected by, or they have this connective tissue where it's connecting your feet or connected to your diaphragm. So yes, your breathing, your primary breathing muscle, respiratory muscle, and to your throat. So when our feet are healthy, we breathe better. Bring your knees underneath your hips. It's just an interesting thing to know. Once you're in your tabletop, curl the toes under, press back towards your heels, and then find your way into your downward dogs. Connecting with those feet. Hands aren't forgotten, but the feet are the focus today. They're the ones that we're going to be giving all our attention to, or most of it. Pressing into the ball mound with that big toe, plus the little toe, and of course the heels won't, most of us will not be touching the ground. Now come in, bend your right knee, and when you bend your right knee, come onto the toes of that right foot and press your left heel towards the ground. It might, if you're pretty flexible in the leg, even touch the ground. Mine is almost there. And then let's bend your left knee and straighten your right leg. Come onto those toes, exaggerate these movements as we warm up these feet, connecting to the feet, bending that right knee, straightening that left leg, and then bending your left knee and straightening your right leg. So when we're children, babies, we have very flexible feet. And as we shove our feet into, and let's go back and forth between these stretches. As we shove our feet into shoes all the time, or we're not moving a lot, our feet become stiff. And eventually it affects everything, your back, your legs, your shoulders, your breathing, right? Let's come back to stillness. Let's come onto the toes now, both feet actually, or you're on your toes, and then just press the heels down. Use your breath here now, inhaling onto your toes, press into all 10 toes, and then exhale, press the heels down. Let's take an inhale, look forward, walk to the front of the mat. Once at the front of the mat, let's come into a forward bend. In your forward bend, take an inhale, come up halfway. This is where blocks might come in handy. Hands on shins or on the ground. And exhale, forward fold. Press into the inner edges of those feet and reach the arms up to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart. From here, lift the chest up, stay in your Tadasana, your mountain pose. Lift your toes up without looking at them. And then let the toes drop down. Fan the toes out and then place the toes back down and scrunch the toes. So if my hand or it's my foot, I'm scrunching my fingers in a little fist and then I'm releasing. And that's what we're doing. Lift your toes up and then scrunch the toes down as if you're trying to lift the mat up. Then inhale, lift up the toes and then scrunch. One more time, inhale, lift your toes up and then let the toes soften back down. Inhaling, arms reach up to the sky. Let's exhale, forward fold. Inhaling halfway, step back into a downward dog. Inhaling the knees down to the ground. Sit back to your heels and then come up nice and tall. Keep the toes curled under. We're here for just a moment, not too long. Inhale, reach your arms back behind you and sweep your palms up to the sky. Lift the arms up. And then exhale, lower the hands down to the ground, back into your tabletop. Exhaling, curling the toes under, downward dog. Take an inhale, bring your left foot in towards your right foot, about an inch or so. Inhale your right leg up to the sky. Press into that left heel.
Push through that right foot as if you're trying to touch either behind you or up to the ceiling. Take an inhale and exhale, knee to nose. Step your right foot between your hands, left foot between your hands. Now you're back at the front of your mat, forward fold. Inhaling halfway, pressing into the ball mounds of those feet, and then let's come all the way up to standing. Exhaling, hands to heart. Let's just lift the toes now, flare out the toes. These are called active feet. Just lower the toes down. One more time, lift up and feel how you engage your shins, the backs of your legs. You might even feel it all the way up your back. Lower the toes back down. Inhale, sweep your arms up to the sky. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling halfway. Stepping back into your downward dog. Pressing the heels towards the ground. Bring your right foot in towards your left foot. Inhale your left leg up to the sky. Square those hips, that left hip towards the ground. Exhale, knee towards nose, and then step your left foot between your hands, right foot between your hands. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling, sweeping your arms up to the sky. Exhaling, hands to heart. Bring the feet together so they're touching one another. Inhale, reach your arms back. I'm going to scoot back because I have a plant in my way. But we're going to go from here into a chair. Bend the knees. Reach the arms forward, just in front of you. We're not going to lift the arms up. Just in line with your hands, in line with your shoulders. From here, take a breath in. If you want to come with me to stretch out those toes, come onto your toes. Lift your heels and balance. And you're going to shake here. Shake, shake, shake. Place the heels back down, forward fold. Taking an inhale halfway. Exhale, step back, downward dog. That's inhaling into your plank. Now knees can be down or up. If they're up, we're going to do a little rock and roll, forward and backward, stretching out those toes even more. Heels press back as you rock backwards. As you rock forward, you come onto those toes. One more time, back, and then exhale, hinge forward, bend the elbows, lower yourself down onto your stomach, chaturangas. Inhaling, lifting up into your cobra, squeezing those elbows in towards your sides, and then exhale, lower down, curl the toes under. Knees on the knees, or just lift the knees up, plank. Exhale, downward dog. Lower the knees to the ground. Tops of the feet now on the ground. Sit back onto your heels, sit up nice and tall. Okay, now we're going to stretch out the opposite part of your foot, the top of it. Take your hands behind your back. If this hurts too much to do double, you can take one leg up at a time. Okay, this one I absolutely love. It's a very gentle nurturing. But if you can do double, do double. Lift the knees up, stretch out the tops of your feet. Now, if you have feet issues, you might find this is a tough one. You might find this one is harder than the curling under. So then you just sit on the heels. That's a little bit more gentle. If that doesn't work, then you lift up. So it's all about eventually stretching out your feet enough that you can actually sit on them. Knees up, and then take an inhale and exhale, knees down. Inhale, lift your knees up, and exhale, lower down. This time, hold, breathing in and breathing out, and then lower the knees to the ground, slide your hands forward, curl the toes under, exhale, downward dog. Breathing in and breathing out. This time, bend the knees, look forward, take a breath in, and see if you want to leap forward or jump forward. Leap forward or walk forward. Forward bend. Bring the feet back together again. Bending the knees, take an inhale, sweep your arms back behind you. I'm just moving a little bit back. And then inhale, reach your arms forward. wrists, hands in line with your shoulders. Come onto those toes. Maybe this time bring your hands in front of your heart if you'd like to. And balance, balance, balance. If you want to go a little further, you can come all the way down. Just for a moment. Actually, that's not further. It's harder to be in the chair. Just stay here. Stay here, sitting down. Bring your heels towards your bottom. So what you're doing is your knees push forward slightly, maybe even lower to the ground. If you want to go deeper into that stretch. And either when we straighten the legs, place the heels down, or for a little extra, stay on your toes. Breathing in, and as you breathe out, lift all the way up. And then lower the heels down. Hands to heart. Woo. Take a breath here. Let's take a pause and breathe. 2 more breaths here. Let's gently open our eyes. Let's heel toe our feet. So now they're hip distance apart. From here, we're going to lift our right knee up. Hug that knee into your chest. Bring it as close as you can, pressing into that lower leg, but make sure there's a softness to that knee. Now, circle your right foot clockwise. Let's do that a few times. If you find yourself struggling with balance, you can always place your hands on something, maybe a wall or a chair, and then go in the opposite direction with that circle. Okay, reflex your right foot, bend your left knee, and place your right ankle on that left thigh. So I'll swing around so you can see what it actually looks like. So we're in our pigeon, and you're going to sit down as if you're in a chair. Your right foot is flexed, and I want you to press through that right heel, spread the right toes, and your left foot is supporting you. Breathing in and breathing out. Then take an inhale, lift back up. We're not done yet. I'm going to spin around here. Re-hug your right knee into your chest. And then kick your right foot back. Grab hold of the top of that right foot with your right hand. Stretching out the top of the foot, the thigh, so the quads are stretching, quad stretch. Hip flexor stretch. You can either take one hand or both hands and wrap it around the top of that right foot and bring it in a little closer as you lean forward with those hips. So take those hips, push them a little further forward, and then lower your right foot down. Oh. Let's inhale, sweep your arms up to the sky. Let's exhale, forward fold. You should feel lots of tingling in those feet. Inhaling halfway. Step, or if you want to add on, let's jump back into your plank. If you didn't jump, that's okay. You're in your plank, either knees down or up. Let's do it if you want to add on here. If your feet are still okay, I want you to roll forward and backwards. So rock forward and backwards, stretching out those feet, especially the bottom of those feet. And then lower the knees down or keep the knees up, hinge forward, lower down. Chaturanga, flatten out the tops of those feet. Lift yourself up, coming into cobra. Hearts telescoping forward, squeeze the feet together. So thinking about these feet, take a breath in, slide the hands next to the chest. Let's press back into a child's pose with the arms reaching forward, elbows off the ground. Let's just take 2 deep breaths here. So feet. Healthy feet equals healthy body. It enhances the health of the rest of our body. If they're not healthy, that impacts everything. So it's extremely important that we maintain healthy feet. Curling the toes under, exhaling into your downward dogs. Take a breath in, make a decision. If you're going to leap, bend the knees, take an inhale, and use your exhalation. Jump forward, forward fold. Take an inhale halfway, slide the hands up the shins. Now don't forget the big ball mound of that big toe. Press into that ball mound and then inhale, sweep your arms all the way up to the sky. Exhaling, hands to heart. Take a pause. Inhale. So when we're on all 3 corners of our feet, or sometimes we say 4 corners of our feet, it protects our lower back because we're not leaning to one side. We're actually, or the other side, we're in the middle. That's where we want to be. Shoulders are relaxed, we're nice and tall, our posture is beautiful. Okay, let's bring your right foot in towards your left foot. Lift your left knee up, hug that left knee into your chest. And then, if you found this really hard, you can do this lying down, sitting down. If you think, I can't do another balance, circle that ankle into the clockwise position or the clockwise circle, direction. And then go in the other direction, counter. And then from here, bend your right knee. Place your left ankle on your right thigh. Make sure your right foot is flexed. And then hands to heart. Now see, I have a wall. I might say, oh, I want to just hold on to the wall for support. Or hands to heart. Sitting down, flexing that foot. So it's really about the foot. Flexing, spreading through those toes of that left foot. Taking a breath in, and as you breathe out, lift back up. Re-hug your left knee into your chest and kick your left foot back. Grab hold of the top of that left foot and draw the heel as close to your left bottom cheek. Not all of us can get it that close. You might be quite far away. Doesn't matter. As long as you feel a stretch in the top of your thigh, the quads, the hip flexors, and the top of that foot as best as you can. Maybe take both hands if you're able to balance, or one hand on a wall, chair. And then lower your left foot down. Let's just shake it out. Let's do a few little kind of wiggles of the knees. You can tell with the feet, we can move it in all directions. Outward, inward, circle it. It's extremely flexible. But as we get older, or even if we're younger, if you don't use your feet, they become block-like. And it affects everything. And including the breathing. It enhances our ability to use our diaphragm because the connective tissue is connected to the feet, to the diaphragm. And that's exhale, forward fold. It's inhale, press, step back, downward dog. If you'd like to come directly into your child's pose, do so. Otherwise, follow me through vinyasa. We're going to come into our plank. And then hinge forward, rock forward, just forward, and then lower yourself down. Chaturanga, inhaling into your cobra. And then exhale, lower all the way down. Slide your hands next to your chest. Pick back up into your plank, and then exhale, downward dog. And then lower the knees to the ground. Let's all meet back in our child's pose. This time, arms resting. Let the breath, so if the feet impact our diaphragm, if they're healthy and we move them by walking and dancing and doing our yoga, whatever, stretching them, without always wearing shoes or very kind of shoes that are flexible. But if we're also by breathing, doing diaphragmatic breathing, that impacts our feet. So the two go hand in hand. So if we're doing a lot of diaphragmatic breathing, which we do in yoga all the time, that connective tissue is impacting, is having an effect on the feet without even realizing it. So it's a very interesting way that we're designed. Our bodies are designed. This is our anatomy, the structure of how this is all working together. So the body moves freely and easily. Okay, let's take a breath in. We're now sitting with our knees bent. Let's reach your arms forward. And let's exhale, roll down. We're going to do just one set of rolling down and then rolling back up. You can either do it with your legs straight or bent. Those that struggle with this coming down, you don't have a lot of core strength, make sure the knees are bent. Inhaling at the bottom, then reaching your arms up, and then exhaling, re-rolling up, pulling the belly muscles in. And this time lift up nice and tall. Once you're up, you might support yourself with your hands, and let's fold forward into our forward bend. If you're able to, if you do touch your toes easily, then grab hold of the outer edges of those feet, so the outer arch, and rub them and touch them and love them. Lots of people don't like their feet. I would suggest you learn to love your feet, or else you'll be wishing you loved your feet. Let's lower ourselves back onto our backs. And once we're on our backs, let's hug your knees into your chest. And you might be quite young and thinking, well, I have a long way to go before any problems. Well, it can happen quite quickly. Open the arms out to the sides, let your knees drop to the left. I am a big believer in taking care of the feet and the hands. Those are often the most neglected part of your body. Turn your gaze to the right. We're in our spinal twist. Your feet are flexed, but just let them actually be a little bit more natural. We don't need to worry about them at this point, other than just feeling how good they probably feel quite nice. And pick the knees back up, rolling onto your back, hug the knees into your chest, forehead to knees, and then replace your head on the ground, open up the arms out to the sides, drop your knees to the right, turn your gaze to the left. So in the way we live our lives, we don't pay attention to our feet. They're not extremely important. Maybe our hands we feel are more important because you're on the computer, you need your hands to do a lot of things. But the two are so important, the two. So these sessions are about feet, but we will move on at some point to sessions about hands. Hug your knees into your chest one last time and extend your left leg to the left corner of the mat, right to the right, so the foot. Once the feet are open, allow the feet to open up naturally out to the sides. The arms next to your sides with the palms facing up. Let's close the eyes. Let your whole body soften down. And you'll notice your hands naturally curl towards each other. When you're resting, your feet naturally open out to the sides when you're resting. This is where you need to be. This is where you'll organically go to. And as you continue on, I'm going to take a pause here, sitting up. Take 2 to 5 moments in your minutes in your Savasana. I'll just be here for about a minute of your Savasana. So I would suggest you let yourself continue on. Bringing that mind's eye right to the feet. What do they feel like? When I'm concentrating on my feet, when I do a yoga practice based on the feet, obviously you're working all your other muscles, I feel like a different person. And I also find I walk different because I'm focused on them. I might actually take care of them better. I put some cream on them. I cut my nails. I scrape them using a little one of those scrapers to get rid of the dead skin. So these are the things we need to do. These are so important, not just waiting to have a pedicure done. That's one way, but to do it yourself as well. So as I bring hands in front of my heart to seal this practice for this session of feet, beautiful feet, devoting yourself to your feet, thank you so much for being with me. And if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe. Just press the button on the right-hand side.
Comment, let me know what you like, what you would like more of, and give me a thumbs up. And I'm Rebecca Jane from Yoga with Rebecca Jane, and I'll see you soon.